Hi everyone, and welcome to Weekly Cooking with Becky. Today we are going to be making Mongolian beef, and it is so versatile. You can make it go with just about any meal. You can keep it strictly Asian. You can turn it into a beef and broccoli. That's what we're going to do. You can serve it over rice. Lots of options, but the main thing is to get the beef going. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is it's a slow cooker recipe. So you want to get your slow cooker out, and you have two options. You can cook it on high for 2 to 3 hours or on low for 4 to 6. I always recommend low, 4 to 6 hours, even though I'm doing the high today, and that's just because time slipped away from me. But if you can cook it on low, do so. Low and slow is always gonna win. All right. We want to make sure that as we're cooking that the meat is going to get thick with the sauce. So the first thing you're going to need is 1.5 pounds of flank steak and 2 tablespoons of unflavored gelatin. Now you can buy those $10 big containers of unflavored gelatin, or you can go and just get unflavored gelatin. And that's what I do. Sometimes I buy Knox, sometimes I buy generic. Our store didn't have the generic. Just to let you know, 1 packet is a tablespoon, so I need 2 packets. So right now I have sliced up against the grain 1.5 pounds of flank steak. That's the recommended. Make sure you put it in the freezer for just a little bit so it's slightly frozen, slightly thawed. It helps cut against the grain a little bit better because it is not the most expensive quality of meat. So that'll help with the slicing, but we need to coat it with the gelatin so that way when we add all of the other ingredients, it'll all stick and will help make that gravy. So let's get going. All right, so down here, as you can see, I have the steak and it's all been coated. Let's see, just get that out. Okay. So I just have a little container here and I'm gonna put this in. This is where I'm gonna be mixing the gelatin, and I just kind of want to lay out the beef as evenly as I can. I'm going to sprinkle 1 packet on top, and then I'm going to try and get everything kind of flipped over quickly. It doesn't have to be perfect. We just want to make sure that everything's coated. Let me remove the cutting board. All right, so everything's all nice and sliced. Okay, so first things first, 1 packet. And I'm just gonna sprinkle it all over, making sure we are getting every little thing coated in gelatin. Okay. That's only 1 tablespoon, guys. So I'm gonna kind of rub it in a little bit with my tongs. Just kind of stick it to the meat. I wanna make sure. And then I'm gonna kind of flip them over here so we can get the other side as well. I wanna make sure that everything has it on it. Oops, I almost flipped that one right out. Okay. And here we go. So that is going to be 2 tablespoons, 2 packets, 2 tablespoons. Once again, just kind of patting it through. I'm gonna stir it up here a little bit. Just want to make sure this one area right here, I want to make sure that gets good because I can tell the knife didn't go all the way through. There we go. All right, now from here, I'm going to pour it into the crock pot. Just lay it on the bottom of the pan. And I will spread it out. So you'll see it does not take long to cook. Mine, I don't know about yours, my crock pot tends to be on the high side, so I'm actually going to be setting mine for 2.5 hours. And then we have this sauce. Let me go ahead and remove this fork out of the way. So in the sauce, let me tell you what is all in this magical stuff that's going to make it taste like Mongolian beef. This is not a spicy meal, just to let you guys know. So I have 1/4 of a cup. Now I have light soy sauce because I'm low carb, but you could always use coconut aminos or Bragg's aminos if you want to be plain keto. If you're low carb, you could do Bragg's aminos or coconut aminos or soy sauce. 4 cloves of garlic, 1/4 of a cup of sweetener of choice, 1 tablespoon of blackstrap molasses. That is your high carb count, but remember it's gonna go over everything. A tablespoon of sesame oil. If you do not have sesame oil, as it's not a popular ingredient, you can swap out olive oil. They did say that that's a good swap. So that's what I did. Sea salt, 3/4 of a teaspoon, 1/4 of a teaspoon of pepper, and 1/2 teaspoon of ground ginger. Stir it all up, and we are now going to pour it over everything. This is part 1, just trying to make sure the steak is getting covered, because that's why we have the gelatin, is we want to make sure that everything's got some seasoning. So you can see I'm kind of moving and making sure that we've got seasoning on every last piece of meat as it cooks. Okay. It's as easy as that, guys. The hardest part was cutting the steak. Everything else came together. I mean, you saw it. It came together really, really fast. So at this time, you have 2 choices. You can either cook it on low for 4 to 6 or on high for 2 to 3 and just kind of check on it. I'm going to go for 2.5. And then the sauce, there will be some fat coming out just as it cooks. So the sauce will thin out a little bit. If you want to thicken it up when you're done, you can always remove the meat onto a plate. And then my crock pot has a saute function on it. I could switch to there and just thicken it right in the pot, or you could remove it to another pot, thicken it just in the pan, heat it up to high, let it boil a little bit, because that the gelatin that moves into there will act as a thickening agent, and you can thicken it up and put it back in there. I'm gonna leave it because I'm gonna be adding my vegetables to it later on when I serve, because I'm gonna turn mine into a beef and broccoli, but we're gonna see it as Mongolian beef. So I will be back here. I'm putting the lid on after a couple of hours when it is all cooked, and I'll show you what it looks like. All right, you gotta admit that looks pretty good, doesn't it? So I went ahead and I'm gonna show you what it looks like as beef and broccoli, but I'm gonna go ahead and just take a bite of a piece. I snuck one earlier, gotta admit I did that. It was just so good. So, just to give you an idea of what you can do, I just went ahead and stirred in some broccoli. So we're gonna do a beef and broccoli dinner, and I used all the juices to flavor up the broccoli. So that can give me an idea. Cauliflower rice, lots of gravies in there. So very, very healthy meal. You get your meat and you get your veggies. So it is delicious, and I've always loved beef and broccoli, and I wanted to try this just to see if it works. So if you're somebody who likes to make this, or if you're somebody who likes maybe the Atkins frozen meal, I think it's called beef merlot or whatever, you're totally gonna love this. I mean, seriously, it is really, really good. So I highly recommend this one, and serve it with whatever vegetable. It just absorbs all of those juices and flavors. So go get it. The link will be down in the description feel free to smash that like button and share it out. And also feel free to follow me over on Facebook as well at Living Low Carb with Becky. Until next time, bye.